New Mexico Wildlife Center was established in 1986, so we've been around, 36 years. And we have two major program areas. One is our wildlife hospital, and we see about 1,000 wildlife or wild animal patients every year. And we have about 35 animals that are non-releasable. They can't go back out into the wild. And so we use those to help educate students and the general public all about New Mexico's wildlife. So typically when an animal comes to us, it's usually brought to us by the general public, and they found it along the road, or maybe they've been out hiking, or maybe in their backyard. We do an initial exam on the animal. Our vet and our wildlife rehabbers look at the animal. From that very first intake, we look at what are the issues with this animal. Is it dehydrated? Does it have a broken wing or broken leg? Is it got some other internal injuries or external injuries? A lot of the animals we have here are birds of prey or raptors. And we have very small raptors. The American kestrel is the smallest one we have here. The largest is the golden eagle. We also have 3 bald eagles. Probably the rarest animal we have here is a Mexican spotted owl. There's only about 2,500 left in the wild. We also have mammals. We have a bobcat and raccoon, amphibians and reptiles too. We have a hognose snake and a prairie rattlesnake. Yeah, our peregrine falcon has a wing injury, so it can't fly, which is for a peregrine falcon really difficult because they're one of the fastest animals on the planet. Arguably the fastest animal on the planet, can dive at 270 miles an hour and has special adaptations. Lenses on its eyes, sort of acting like goggles to protect its eyes when it's in a dive. It also in its nostrils has, like you might see on a jet engine, a divider, so it breaks up the air currents, because at 270 miles an hour going down in a dive, the force of the air pressure would bust its little lungs. So it's a pretty amazing creature, the adaptations it has. All of the animals here have a special story. I think one of my favorites is our turkey vulture, Saul. And turkey vultures have a great defense mechanism. If they get upset or they get scared or you get too close to them, they will vomit on your shoes, which would definitely make me take a step back. And turkey vultures really like to be warm. They migrate in the winter. They don't stay here. They migrate into Mexico and further south. So when you see them with their wings spread out, they're doing 2 things. 1, they're warming up, and 2, it's a way for them to, through solar radiation, ultraviolet radiation, to get rid of bacteria that they've picked up from eating the carrion that's their main food source. We have several different species of owls, the largest being a great horned owl, and then our smallest being a little burrowing owl. And the burrowing owls are under a lot of pressure right now from development. They live in burrows in the ground. They don't dig the burrows, but they often coexist with prairie dogs and other animals that dig burrows. And they used to be very common all throughout New Mexico, but development of roads and highways and housing and just what you call urban sprawl is really having a big impact on our burrowing owl populations. All these animals have just such great stories individually for them on their own, but also for their species. You know, it's easy to go on television and learn about animals in the Amazon or Antarctica or anywhere else, but you know, to learn about animals that live in your own backyard, sometimes it's hard to find that information. So the other thing we'd like people to know is all of us have direct impacts on these wild creatures, whether we realize it or not. So learning some of the things that we can do to lessen our harmful impacts and improve our beneficial interactions with our native wildlife is something we really want people to take home. A lot of people think tossing an apple core out of a car window, you know, it's biodegradable, it's not going to be around, you know, that's not garbage. But you know, when that apple core lands on the ground along the highway, it may attract mice. And then animals like the owls I was just talking about, or some of our hawks, are going to come in and see those animals, those mice and rats, as food, and then they get hit by cars. It's just easy stuff like that to, you know, become a better steward of our environment, better stewards of this wildlife.